Welcome to Family Awareness Talk Show. Today's subject is about environment, which is the most important subject to be discussed these days. People are always aware to keep their houses clean, but how much are they aware to keep the environment clean? What about littering in the sea, in the rivers, on the roads, fumes, factories, and all these things? In this episode, we will have the director of the Lebanese Cleaner Production Center, Dr. Ali Yaacoub. He will tell us how to raise the level of awareness for protecting our environment. Dr. Ali Yaacoub, you are welcome. I hope you will tell us more about this field in the environment and how you started this.
First of all, I would like to thank you as a person and thank this TV station, which is have been for a long time doing very great initiatives towards education and towards people and the humanity and learning a lot of people to deal with the major issues we are facing each day. So a great thanks, highly appreciated for the TV, highly appreciated for you to put the light on such important subject, the environment. Because as you may know, environment and human is linked together in all aspects. And with regard to all religions, it is absolutely not allowed to destroy the humans or the environment. This is one of the major barriers which you have to take care of. And I can tell you that sustainable development, which is the major umbrella of the international organizations such United Nations, such the European Union, all the donor countries, they have put in the framework of sustainable development 3 pillars. The first one is environment, the second one is social, and the third one is economy. So these 3 pillars are the major pillars for sustainable development, where we have at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, where all the countries are putting their agenda towards facing or towards achieving this Sustainable Development Goals, which are 17 goals in this regard. So, it's very important subject, and you know very well that we cannot survive without water for 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. And we cannot survive without air for a few minutes, and without food for some weeks. So all these 3 major lines for survival and keeping the human life are in regards with the environment. Air, if it's polluted, then you will die immediately in a few seconds or few minutes. And if the water is also polluted and it's not well protected, and you will be also subjected to a very major risks on your health. Also, if the ground are polluted, you cannot make agriculture, and you cannot produce or farm any healthy and organic products.
Yes.
So your health are in very high risks when the environment is polluted. To protect ourselves, we have to protect the environment.
Yes,
to keep the world running, we have to protect our environment.
Yes, from your introduction, Dr. Ali, something came into my mind. Long time ago, a wise man said to me about the environment. Why some people keep their houses clean and they litter on the roads and the sea and the rivers. He said that some people don't have the feeling of belonging. You know what he meant exactly, that I feel that I own this house, but I don't own this land. How much do you think citizens and families are responsible for their environment in order to keep it clean?
Well, for sure, protecting the environment is a collateral and a highly important cooperation between all the people together, between the individuals, between the families, between the society, and between the countries. And it goes further and further. So this is for sure very important, that you don't look on the protection of the environment inside your house only, because you have to look outside the house and try to change your lifestyle in order to make the people changing their lifestyle in protecting the environment. Don't use and don't use things which can be destroying the environment, like plastics and papers and all this. You have to reuse it, recycle it, in order don't destroying the environment, because resource efficiency is major for protecting the environment. And if you look at the graph of the United Nations, how is the development going on about how we consume our lifestyle, we are very highly consumer. With this highly consumption, so we have a lot of waste, and with this waste we are destroying the environment. So in order to keep us alive, we have to minimize the consumption, because the graph is saying that in 2050 we will be needing 2 planets of resources in order to survive, as our consumption is highly increasing. So it is about of resource efficiency, and this is what we are doing in the Lebanese Cleaner Production Center, where we are implementing proactive environmental strategies and preventive approaches in order to minimize waste from the sources, in order to reuse a lot of raw material with other products. And this is very important when you have this win-win approach, as you need this kind of resources to survive for a longer period, and you need to protect the environment for this highly environmental degradation. We have this proactive environmental strategies because we believe that the first thing in your mind has to come up when you face pollution or waste. You should not ask yourself, where does this come from? The waste, where does the waste come from? Because this is a reaction, or this is an end of pipe solution. What you need to do is to ask, where does this come from?
Yes.
Where does the waste come from? You have to go back to the main source of the generation of the waste and try to minimize it before facing the problems. And this is a lifestyle concept. This is a sustainable lifestyle concept based on the understanding of the environmental approaches, and based on the importance of this highly consumption we are doing as humans, without looking forward about how we are losing our earth very quickly.
Yes, since you are expert in new EP, a new NEP actually, and you have lived in Denmark, and you have lived in Lebanon, and you have lived the culture of the Western culture, European culture, and you have lived actually the Lebanese culture. So in comparison or in contrast, how much do you feel that Lebanon is in a risk from diseases side and from environmental side and changing weather and all these things?
Well, Actually, there is a very high contradiction between Denmark and Lebanon in the terms of facing the environment. I was very small kid when I left to Denmark, and I studied there, and I did my education, environmental technology engineering, and later on followed up with the master and the PhD. Environment is in Denmark, at the Technical University of Denmark, one of the major important issues in the governmental agenda. So there is a lot of and high budgets put on budget lines to protect the environment. I can give you an example so the people can get an idea what I'm talking about. And this is linked quickly to the human resources, because environment linkage with the human resources to build the economy, this is where you succeed. In 1973, when the Arab world faced a war in the region with Israel, later came on a decision from Saudi Arabia to minimize the production of oil. So the oil prices increased, and they were increasing after the 1973 because of this decrease in the production of oil. So Denmark said, okay, what should we do? They asked the researchers, they asked the environmentalists, they tell them we need to find a solution how to produce energy while the oil prices are increasing. They sat together and they invented the windmill. Today, 1st January 2020, Denmark is consuming 42% of their total energy consumption from windmills. This is equal to 17% of their total export are windmills, which is equal to 13% of their GDP. So when economy and environment are put together, you will have a success. One single issue in protecting the environment are covering a lot of your economy. So I have a saying in this where I tell a lot of people, and this is a contradiction of Lebanon, because Lebanon, we have yearly, this is numbers from the World Bank, around $567 million per year in the cost of environmental degradation. So we are losing each year around $600 million because we are not protecting the environment. Because this are affecting our health, so our health bill are increasing. It's affecting a lot of things in our daily life. It is charging us a lot of money in this regard.
I know how much you are active in this, and you have visited the ministers in Lebanon in order to give them the awareness of how to protect the environment. And I know that you brought donations to some ministries in Lebanon. So from your work as the director for this department and highly expert in this field, what do you think we have solutions, especially from Lebanon?
Well, I can assure you that Lebanon, if they don't put environment as a priority and link this with the economy, we will not build any economy, and we will still be will be having a high degradation of the environmental cost. Because, as I mentioned to you, environment without economy is just a conversation. But environment with economy is conservation. Yes. So you have to decide, you just want to make a just conversation, or you want to make a real conservation of the nature and the environment. So this is a decision making on the highly level politician and policymakers. They have to decide that this is very important. We are sitting here in this TV station where we can smell the waste nearby us from the dumps in Burj Hammoud, where the dumps in regard of sustainable waste management is the latest in when we talk about United Nations Environmental Program. They have a waste hierarchy. The last solution you can think about is you just go and dump your waste, because this is the worst scenario you can do, where you have to first of all try to make prevention, try to minimize the waste, try to reuse the waste, try to recycle the waste, and lately we are talking about incineration, and this is also not a solution. This is, a sub-solution if you have some materials with high incinerations value.
Okay, Dr. Ali, what is your advice, since you have come with a European perspective and highly international expertise in this field? What is your advice to the Lebanese government, to the current Lebanese government, and to the Lebanese people in order to keep our environment and to benefit from our environment and from our natural resources?
Well, first of all, there is no confidence between the people and the government, unfortunately, in Lebanon. And this is one of the big problems. The government has to decide and has to be pushed by the people to go for real actions towards protecting the environment. And on the other hand, the people and the Lebanese people has to understand very clear that protection of the environment is for the benefits of their economy and for their health. So we have to change our lifestyle, how to deal with the issues. We have to do recycling at home. We have to reuse the products. We have to don't generate a lot of waste. And this is a totally important lifestyle. And this is, after COVID-19 and after Corona, we are pushed more and more to make a lot of savings and protect our environment, because this is a health risks. So we need to do that. And the Lebanese person and the Lebanese people, they have, a contradiction in the mentality. The same persons, when he goes to Europe, he will not throw anyway from the car on the streets.
Yes.
When he comes to Lebanon, he will do it. It's the same person.
Why do you think that the Lebanese people are different when they are in the West and they are in Lebanon?
Because it is an entire climate default in Lebanon, where the government are not putting any restrictions toward this, and the people doesn't have confidence in the government, so they doesn't care. While in Europe, there is, there will be a big fine or a big bill if you do this. The government are very strict, and people will see that the streets are clean, so it will be affected. So it's a lifestyle based on legislation and the protection of the environment. So hand in hand, the government and the people has to do efforts towards changing this situation.
Okay, this program is called Family Awareness Program, so we try to raise the awareness for families. What is your last advice you want to give to families ending this episode, expecting you with more episodes later on?
Well, I have a family, you have a family. We need to raise our kids and make an understanding inside the house about feeling with others, and have this emotional and ethical understanding of the importance of protecting the environment. So in each single action we are doing at home, we have to look at it based on what this will be affecting negatively our society and the environment. And when we look this, and we have this in our back mind, that we have to see where does the waste come from, all our actions will change slowly, and we will change our lifestyle, and we'll try to minimize the waste as much as possible. So it's a learning process which is needing to be. When we brush our teeth, we don't need to just open the water while we are brushing. So close the tap, finish the brushing, and then use the water. So look at the savings of the water, minimize the waste. When you leave the room, try to shut down the light. Even if you are not, your bill will not change in the consumption, but think about the CO2 production you are doing when you consume the energy. Each liter of diesel oil, when you burn it, it will produce 3.2 kilo CO2, and this are affecting the climate change and doing all these problems at the ozone, so and the pollution of the air. So look at these issues very clear and try to change it based on this ethical background.
You know, Dr. Ali, it's really scary, the information you have given to this episode. How much personally to you, Dr. Ali Yaacoub, the director of the Lebanese Cleaner Production Center, how much do you think we can survive with the current environmental situation in Lebanon?
2030.
Why?
2030 is the finishing line. If we keep doing what we are doing now with this highly consumption and with no ethical social behavior, and without minimizing our consumption and looking at the environment, the entire globe will be destroyed at 2030. So the globe of Earth will be finished by 2030.
Yeah, how much do you think that the United Nations, UNEP, is interfering in order to solve this problem?
Well, you start from COP 20, and before that Rio de Janeiro in 19, where everybody was asked to minimize their generation of CO2 to 50%, and all this ending with the Horizon 2030. So there is a program for Sustainable Development Goals where United Nations has put an agenda for Horizon 2030, and we are following the line of actions needed before reaching 2030. So far we are in 2020, ending in 2020, and we have not reached 10% of the goals put in 1992. So we are a big trouble, and we have a big hit.
Dr. Ali Yaacoub, the director of the Lebanese Cleaner Production Center, thank you so much for enriching this episode about protecting our environment and raising the awareness to the Lebanese people. Thank you so much for watching us. Keep your environment clean and keep healthy.
Thank you, and thank you for your team.
Thank you so much.